Welcome to this month's RC Racing. Once again, we've got all the news, reviews, interviews and race action from the world of RC racing, plus a glamorous and exciting background. But our racing this month comes from close to home, with 112 modified and touring car modified action from the British National Championships. But first, the latest car from HPI.
For durability and ease of use, the dual battery, dual motor, electric E-Savage can't be beat. Full-time four-wheel drive and that classic Savage design place it well above any other electric monster truck you can find today. The E-Savage isn't just about looking great, it's also a top performer. It's based upon the strong foundation of the toughest RC monster truck around, the Savage, with its twin vertical plate aluminium chassis design, upgraded, toughened and ruggedized new differential, 8 shock absorbers, dual wishbone suspension. The E-Savage is ready for anything. The E-Savage combines the ease of use of electric power with the awesome DNA of the Savage monster truck family. Just flick the switch for monster truck nirvana. And now back to the British National Championships final meeting at the Cotswolds Club. Well, leg one was full of instant, with Andy Moore making an uncharacteristic mistake on the last lap, and then Ollie Jeffries going flat whilst in the lead, handing the victory to Chris Granger. We now go back to John Hindhoff to find out if the second leg can produce such drama.
Well, no complaints about the action in the first day final here at Kemble. Let's hope we have a similar treat here in the second one. We know the British champion now, of course, and as we can see, our cameraman ready to go on our grid walk. So let's have a look. Here's Andy Moore on pole position. Ollie Jeffries will feel a little aggrieved perhaps he didn't take the first final here, dumped on the very last lap. Chris Granger is now 3 times a British champion in consecutive years, and Elliot Harper will be looking for a better run this time around. Darren Stiles and John Bowden are on row 3. Craig Drescher, well, he made up positions last time. Chris Ashton alongside him. Stuart Noble and Glenn Dorman on the back row. Well, will Andy Moore get the start again here? There he is on the left of the picture. And just look at the angle on the outside of the front row for Ollie Jeffries as we wait the countdown. Chris Granger in third. He's lined up the opposite direction, which is rather confusing to see those two cars in the middle of the picture there. And off we go. And again, Andy Moore gets the run. And this time he's opened up a very quick and handy gap. Last time we saw tremendous battling between the front two. And they're getting away again. Ollie Jeffries really did put the world champion under some pressure in the first air final here, but he's not quite with it this time. And in fact, he's coming under pressure himself now from Granger. And in 4th place, from 4th on the grid, that's the 14-year-old Elliot Harper. He's on real good form this weekend in exalted company. Really must be, along with Ollie Jeffries, real talent for the future. And this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th now just beginning to drop away from Andy Moore, who has once again made his escape into the distance. Through they come again. You can see the cars actually do get airborne in a couple of places here, and if you listen very carefully, there's other places where the chassis of the car is grounding out. That's the start-finish line here is one of them. Moore getting away in the lead, and from Derbyshire. Certainly does not have the challenge, and he's pacing himself a lot more. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd, and certainly established in 2nd place now. Ollie Jeffries, the 20-year-old, just can't seem to put the pressure on Andy as he did the first time round. Then Granger, Elliot Harper, that's the first 4 as they were on the grid. Just at the bottom end of the top 6, Ashton, Noble and Dorman, which I think were a prog rock band in the 1970s, weren't they? They're having their own little private battle and not really being able to challenge, just not quite close enough to the big dive up the inside into one of the braking areas. That right kink before the hairpin, certainly a favourite of some of the drivers this weekend. Glenn Dorman really pressuring Stuart. Oh, well, he's made a mistake, gone too deep in the corner, and Dorman goes through. So that's a position made up. Can he hold on to it? He's not really getting away. Bit of a gift when he went through on the inside, but took his opportunity well, and now has got to try and make good his escape. Here's the scene of the crime, and he's got through it fine. Meantime, back at the front of the field, there is Andy Moore, who has really not had quite as much work to do in this one, has he? As we've seen earlier in the weekend, picking his lines, able to roll on and off the throttle. He's not having to go so deep into the corners. Remember, we had one of the first three dump on the final lap on the previous race here, so all of these drivers will be just a little bit worried about the longevity of the cells. And it looks to me as if Ollie Jeffries is just closing in again. And I wonder who has paced themselves the better of these two, as Jeffries once again drags up to the back of the leader. World champion, remember, Andy Moore. Jeffries just 20. Well, he's really shown some tremendous form this weekend. Caught the eye of many of the experienced people in the paddock. Been a lot of talk about this young man. And he is definitely closing down on Andy Moore. And Moore again starts to take the curbs. And that was his undoing first time out here. He's got to keep control of that car. If it gets airborne, he's in real trouble. Did a little bit of off-road racing, did Andy Moore last year. Not really his forte. Couldn't quite get used to the car in the air as much as it was there. And it has, as I say, proved he's undoing this week. And again, he's up on the curbs. He's feeling the pressure again from Jeffries, who's almost within striking distance. And I don't see any major mistakes being made by Moore. He just hasn't got the pace in this last third of the race. And Jeffries now, will he give the world champion some respect as he did in the earlier race? He's having a little look. That's his favourite spot there, into that right-hander before the heavy braking into the hairpin, across the start-finish line. Is there another chance down the inside here? He's right alongside. That's a tremendous piece of driving by the youngster. Pressure all the time now for the leader, and you can see that Andy's just riding the curbs. Here's the spot again on the circuit where Jeffries likes it, and you saw there that the leader had to go very defensive. Andy Moore knows he's in a battle now, down towards the hairpin. Oh, and a slightly wide entry to that one by Jeffries, but it's paid off. It's paid off. I thought it was a mistake there, but he got a really good run. And oh, Andy Moore is slowing down. Now, is this the same problem coming towards the end? The rest of the leader's gone as well. Jeffries makes a mistake coming through the chicane. Well, he had it all to do, and Chris Granger once again on the last lap inherits the victory, and it'll be 2 for 2 for the newly crowned British champion. He'll take the meeting as well. He's got to be thinking his luck's in this weekend. Get some money on the lottery, Chris. Rueful shake of the head. He'll take the victory, will Chris Granger. There's Andy Moore. I think he dumped it again on the last lap, with Ollie Jeffries coming in second. Granger, Jeffries and Moore then. Elliot Harper holding on to fourth position from Styles, Bowden, Dorman, Ashton, Noble and Craig Drescher not making the full distance in 10th position.
Back in Series 1, we looked at HBI's Baja 5B, the 1/5 scale, petrol-powered, two-wheel drive buggy that set a new standard for large scale. Well, now it's been improved with a raft of hop-ups, covering tuning, go-anywhere abilities, and simple bling. For the true Baja experience, you need the sand paddle tyres. An awesome optional extra that makes your car a sand buggy. Here in the American desert, it's go anywhere, but it'll work just as well at Camber Sands or Skegness. Or perhaps in the local bunker of your golf club. If absolute speed is your thing, then we recommend the tuned pipe. Aluminium and with just that right edge of noise. But you'll need an open space to run it in, as it's not recommended for built-up areas. For the ultimate fast and furious way to pimp your ride, you can't avoid the fantastic LED light set. Sets your car out from the crowd and makes it 24-hour fun machine. We've just scratched the surface. To check out the full range of options for your Baja 5B, go to hpieurope.com. Coming right up, we've got John Hindhoff with all the action from the modified A final of the 112th National at Milton Keynes. But first, to chat with one of the most experienced drivers at the meeting, it's Jim Spencer.
Jim Spence, you've been the leading light in 12 for many years. I mean, how long have you been doing this?
26 seasons, straight seasons.
Now, it's interesting looking around, the demographic, the age range really of the 12 section is quite a lot higher, and a lot of people have been doing it for so long. Why do you think people have kept on coming back?
It's a good class. I mean, the class evolves really slowly. The cars have always been quick. The biggest problem we have now is actually slowing them down. So it's something you can just do. The car, you change it slowly over a period of time. There's nothing that radical about it. And the racing's great.
Interesting, obviously, it's been the breeding ground for our world champions. Both Dave Spash and Andy Moore obviously cut their teeth here. I mean, what do you think it is about 12 that teaches driving?
It's the sheer reaction of the car. The cars react really fast. And the basics are that if you can drive a car that reacts very, very quickly indeed, it's quite easy to go to a car that reacts slower. It doesn't really matter what that class is, you can adapt. It's actually quite hard to come the other way.
So in your 26 seasons, who's the best driver you've seen?
Oh, it's got to be David Spichette. Got to be. David, Phil Davis, Jimmy Davis, and all been absolutely top flight. But David Spichette, when he was on it, was absolutely untouchable.
And you said obviously things move slowly, but did you ever have a day when you turned up and you thought, my God, that's going to change the way we race?
Yeah, basically when we changed from 6-cell to 4-cell. Massive change, frightened everybody to death, and it was like changed overnight. And everybody turned up thinking it was going to be the beginning of the end, and actually it worked really well. And it's been a new dawn for 12 scale, if you like. It makes us different from the rest of the electric classes because it's only 4-cell. And the cars are nice to drive. You're not fighting a car that's too aggressive. You can just get on with it and just drive it.
The other thing about 12 is it's very much a class that lives at the Nationals, isn't it? There's very few actual clubs at ground scale level in lots of touring car clubs and not many 12 clubs. I mean, what do you think we can do to improve that?
I think it's promote 12 scale at your local club, go club racing. 12 scale virtually died out around about 10 years ago, totally. We had nationals down at 30 people, and that was a real hardcore 30 enthusiasts. I can now go club racing 5 nights a week within 30 miles of my house. And okay, some of those clubs will only be 6 people. Other clubs will be 3 heats. But that has purely been because people have kept at it. They've kept on racing their 12 scales, they've kept on going to the clubs, and people are realising it's got to be the best performance for your pound in the RC car racing world. Motors last forever, cells last ages, speed controllers last seasons. A few sets of tyres will last you the entire summer season, and a few more sets for the nationals. So the performance is good, the racing's good, and the kit, just like you get value for money from your racing kit.
Jim, thanks a lot.
There we see on pole position Andy Griffiths debuting this new Hot Bodies Cyclone. Alongside him Keith Robertson on the associated 12L4. Row 2, Chris Kurzweil from London has Mark Stiles the Oxford student, for company. Row 3, Andy Sawyer and Mick Farrell. Should be able to pick that car colour out at least. Michael Ramsbottom in the bright yellow machine with Paul Ash. And on the back row, Elliot Harper in his first ever 12th meeting, alongside him Chris Carter. The start absolutely crucial in this open modified A final. Brushless motors, very quick machines, fast off the line, and there they go. And poleman Griffith gets away, and there's a bit of carnage behind. That looks like Kurzweil and Andy Sawyer getting together, as through goes Griffiths, leading from Robertson in second place. Looks like everyone has got back on the wheels and rolling again, as Andy Griffiths tries to develop a little bit of a lead. You see these cars really punching out of the corners. And there is the leader, Griffiths from Robertson. It's Mick Farrell that's up into third place. Yes, it is. And that's been a good start from him from the outside of row 3. Just watch these cars. Long race this, of course. 8 minutes of racing, and you have to rather pace yourself. The additive that goes on the tyres does go away. You use it up or leave it on the carpet, and the handling of the cars will change. So it's about getting into a rhythm earlier on, settle yourself down, and then reacting to how the car changes as the race progresses. And that's the real skill of this form of racing. Big crowd here at Milton Keynes. And now looking at that battle for 5th position. Clark and Kurzweil recovering from some problems early on. Kurzweil in the white and red car, closing in on Clark. Started right at the back of the grid, Clark, and made a reasonable start. Putting his way through that carnage, and now he's going to have to defend a little bit. Just got a quick look at Farrell there, going through ahead of this battle behind him. Oh, little mistake there. Bang on the side wall of the circuit. Looked as though it was pretty square on. I don't think there's going to be too much damage done there. Can he get it right this time? Yes, a little bit more circumspect as he comes through this time, but he's really now under some pressure, and there the pressure has told. Pressure has told, and he's dropped not 1 but 2 places there. He'll be kicking himself at making that elementary error in the midfield, but he was under some pressure. Let's have another look. Yes, hits the wall, and in fact he's lost 3 places as Sawyer and Styles go through as well. Now that's Keith Robertson, who's chasing down the leader, Andy Griffiths. At the moment, Griffiths looks like he's got this one under control. There he is, just disappearing out of the shot. That's 3rd place man, Mick Farrell, another one of those new hot body cyclone machines. Mick, who for some unknown reason likes to be known as Viking on the forum. Works for Mirage, the sister company to HPI up in Derbyshire. Holding down a good 3rd position at the moment. Meantime, back at the head of the field, Andy Griffith coming now to do a bit of lappery, and he really needs to keep concentration here. That's Chris Clark, who he's just gone by, and he's now really got to pick his way through these midfield runners, hasn't he? Now here's the battle for 3rd place. Mick Farrell goes wide, and there's Chris Kurzweil, the Londoner, goes through into 3rd position. Farrell will be absolutely desolate about that, but look, he's picked up his pace, and he's not letting the car ahead. Kurzweil, oh, he's taken him out. Oh dear me, well, perhaps a little impatient there. I said he picked up his pace. Let's have another look at it. Carves up underneath. Ooh, I wonder if Chris Kurzweil will be keeping Mick Farrell on his Christmas card list after that one. But Mick back into 3rd position, and you can see, can't you, that that's almost walking him up. Just look at the body language of the car. It's a lot more twitchy. He's putting a lot more input into it. He's really urging that car on. And well, he needs to, because Kurzweil, despite that bump, is still there. Look, there it is. This 3rd place battle, the closest on the carpet at the moment. There's Farrell. Oh, that was nice and neat through there. And he's just calming himself down again. You can see slightly less steering input. The car now smoothing out through the corners, whereas before it was almost like going around the corners of a 50 fence piece. He's just slackening off his grip on the sticks and relaxing a little bit, letting the carpet come to him. But Farrell is not being shaken off, has he? Look at that. Still in there, and once again, lap traffic coming up as we go back to the leader, Andy Griffith, who, well, despite the Michael Ramsbottom spin in front of him on the Corelli, is not letting his concentration wane. He has had this one from the very off, and the speed of these cars, let me tell you, is immensely quick on the carpet. Keith Robertson in second has not had the pace of the leader, qualified in second place, but really the closest he's been to him is when he was sitting alongside him on the grid. And there's that battle for third with Farrell and Kurzweil still at it, hammer and tongs. There they are through the infield section. Farrell gave it up at third position for just a lap, but he's now under pressure. Oh, and a mistake there. Kurzweil tags the inside wall, and that's rather let Mick the Viking Farrell off the hook. It puts Andy Sawyer up to fourth position. There he is, and he's got the race leader, in fact now the race winner, right behind him as Andy Griffith comes through to take it. But what a drive from Andy Sawyer. Remember, involved in that first corner incident, was right at the back, and he'll come through to fourth position. A win then for the debuting Hot Bodies Cyclone of Andy Griffiths, from Keith Robertson in second place, Mick Farrell third, Sawyer that tremendous fourth position. What a recovery drive. Styles, Kurzweil, Clark, Ash, Ramsbottom and Harper.
Andy Griffiths continuing really this year where you ended last year. You kind of dominate UK racing, don't you, in 12 scale?
Yeah, the races never seem easy. It's always hard work. There's a really good standard of driver here, but yeah, luckily for me, I always seem to end up on top at the end of the day, so I'm very happy.
I mean, this is really because you've carried on supporting the UK Championship when the other two well-known 12 drivers, Andy Moore and Dave Spashett, don't seem to actually bother doing the national rounds. Why do you think that is?
I think Dave's not doing a lot of racing generally anymore anyway, and you know, Andy does a lot of international events. He's at one next weekend, which is why he's not here, so you know, I think they do the ones they can when they fancy it really, but you know, they've got that many commitments everywhere else, they can't do everything.
And aside from my fourth place in sportsman, a great result for the Hot Bodies in its debut.
Yes, very happy with that, yeah. The car worked really well today, so yeah, very happy with that. Yeah.
Andy, thanks a lot. Well, that's it for this month's episode of RC Racing, but next month we stop showing you all the glamorous locations and start showing you the race action itself, from the Indoor International Championship here in Las Vegas. The action's hot, in some ways the women are even hotter, but more importantly, it's all here on RC Racing next month.
"24-hour fun machine."